Hello everyone, this is Moses from Wilona's Cave. Welcome back to another episode of Solo RPG using Dragonbane. To recap the last episode, Hackleswell was relaxing and meditating while overlooking his friend's farm. He wore the blanket that was given to him by Halamar and his wife. He then had a vision where he was back at Outskirt and he saw a little girl giving him a gift. He opens the gift and smiles. When he no longer sees his vision, his sleep deprivation catches up to him as he no longer has enough willpower points. Hence, he does not have enough energy to go any further and he passes out. He then wakes up in a bed in the spare bedroom at Olgrid's farmhouse. Olgrid came into the room and then he asked Hackleswell if anything unusual happened while meditating. I rolled to see if Hackleswell did indeed hear his daughter's voice in the wind. I rolled and he did in fact hear his daughter's voice. And that is where we left off. Now let's continue. So since Hackleswell got sleep, his HP, any conditions, which he didn't have any at the time, and WP have been restored. It is still evening. Hackleswell looks at Olgrid and answers him, saying, "Yes, something unusual did happen. I heard my daughter's voice in the wind." Olgrid puts his pipe, that's Olgrid's pipe right over here, into his mouth and puffs smoke out of the side of his mouth. Olgrid knows the power of the blanket, and after hearing his old friend's response, he is now both intrigued and worried. Olgrid is very keen to deception, so he's basically sitting there, puffing smoke out of the pipe, and staring at the blanket, and staring at Hackleswell. And Hackleswell, I think, is noticing this, and remember that Hackleswell he did finally get sleep, but he still probably is, angry or just frustrated and can't keep his cool because he's still even though he slept, he knows that it's a rare occurrence that he has to sleep. He had to get to the point of passing out to sleep. So he's irritable. So Olgrid is very keen to deception. He then asks, "Did you see or hear anything else while meditating?" Now, the first roll that I did. So what I did a dice roll for bluffing. I wouldn't think that Hackleswell wants to tell Olgrid that he did see or hear anything else. He doesn't want to talk about his daughter's voice. He just wanted to say what his vision was, and that's it. So I try to roll the skill for bluffing, which he only has a 6. So you have to get a 6 or under. So I knew I wouldn't get that. So mallards have a ability called ill-tempered. I'm thinking they were thinking of Donald Duck when they thought of this ability. Mallards tend to have a temper. You can activate this ability with no action cost when making a skill roll and get a boon to that roll. You also become angry, so he gets a condition of angry if you're not already. This ability cannot be used for rolls against intelligence-based skills. So you can't think straight when you're angry, basically. So I took that ability, it cost 3 will points, and now I'm angry, and it was a fail. I rolled a 19 and a 16. So it cost 3 will points, now I'm down to 14 from 17. And now I have an angry condition. So now I have to role play that angry condition. So after failing the bluffing charisma check, Hackleswell abruptly responds that I didn't hear or see anything else, and adds that he is tired of all these questions. It was only one question, but regardless. Olgrid is surprised at his response and tells him to control his anger. Olgrid right now is standing up out of his chair in the room, the chair that's right over here. He tells him to control his anger and that he only asked as a concerned friend. Hackleswell grabs his travel sack and angrily says, "I see now that I have overstayed my welcome here. I must leave." So, at this point, I know that Olgrid is a mage. We rolled that in the beginning of this book, that Olgrid is a mage. So right over here, profession mage. So I'm assuming since he's retired as a farmer, that he's a very experienced mage. He's been a mage his whole life, I'm assuming. So Olgrid has a spell under mentalism called telepathy. Now, with telepathy, you can read the surface thoughts of another person. Accessing deeper memories requires power level 2, yada yada, but he's way up there, like I said, in being a mage, or even more, depending on how fresh the memory is. And I'm going to say Okay, the GM has the final say. Okay, well, I'm the GM, so this is a very recent memory that Hackleswell has. I would say within 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. You can also use this spell to send your own thoughts to another person. Okay, so this is the final dice roll here, and this dice roll will affect my next artwork. So nothing is here yet. So I'm going to display this at the end of the episode and display what I'm seeing. As Hackleswell walks past Olgrid out of the room, Olgrid grabs Hackleswell's arm. Remember, he's a mage, mentalist, telepathy. Olgrid then tries to detect a vision that Hackleswell is keeping a secret from him, as he knows. So in the Game Master's Book of Random Encounters, Adventure Location Edition, there is a table that I've used previously, but I haven't used this part right here. So this is the dream table. 2 or lower, personal nightmare. 3 to 4, no vision. 5 or higher, a dream is revealed. So I'm going to roll a d10 and see what Olgrid can see, what his vision is, using telepathy. And I'll probably put it on screen right now so it's easier for you guys to see. So it's d10. All right, now let's see what happens now. d10. 1. So Olgrid sees the personal nightmare. That's actually exactly what I wanted, thankfully. So Olgrid detects and successfully sees a personal nightmare that Hackleswell is having. The nightmare that keeps him up every night and lets him not sleep through the night. A character viewing a personal nightmare sees a vision invoking their darkest fear. Now let's roll a d100 and let's see what vision Olgrid saw. 31. So I'll put on the screen right now, 31. Clutching the necklace they always wear as shadows swirl in and out of view. Maybe this wooden sunflower that he has used to be a necklace with a chain or a rope. But when he wears it, he sees shadows. So I'm going to roll again and get 2 visions. And let's see if they both can help me think about what is happening in Hackleswell's nightmares. Now let's roll a d100 and let's see what vision Olgrid saw. 7. How in the world is this so fitting? Rolled a 7. Floating on their back down a wide river, the distant thundering of a waterfall drawing nearer and nearer. He's trying to get to a waterfall. On a d100 I roll on thundering waterfall. So he's floating on his back. I don't know if he's, hopefully he's not incapacitated, but he's floating on his back down a wide river. There's a distant thundering of a waterfall drawing nearer and nearer. Why is he on his back? So I'm going to think about those 2 visions and draw out what I'm thinking they could be and present that artwork at the end of this video. Happy gaming, everybody.